Welcome back, everyone, to our 2022 racing season here at Knee Pit Gaming. We're here in NR 2003 with the Truck Series. Now, we are now leaving Daytona in the rearview mirror. Restrictor plate racing can be a lot of fun, but it is very different from everything else that we do here in NASCAR. So we're now moving on to Fontana. Fontana is a track that I absolutely love. It is 2 miles in length. It has just enough banking to keep things interesting, but it is extremely wide. There is plenty of room for 3 and 4 wide at this track, and we're probably going to see some 4 wide at this track. But I could not pass up an opportunity to show you guys all 3 of the physics set here. It's true that the Truck Series will not be running at Fontana, but I want to show you guys how different each of the 3 series are that I'm working on so far. So the Truck Series will be the slowest in a straight line, but they have the most grip. So they're going to race very differently than the Xfinity or even the Cup cars, although there's obviously going to be some similarities here and there. So the Truck Series are going to be a lot of fun, a lot of on throttle time, a lot of full throttle time, but there is one thing that is going to change up the racing quite a bit. Of course, we'll be starting in the rear, so that means dirty air is going to be a problem. Aero tight, aero loose, all of these things that we've heard, all these terms, they're going to come into play here because we're not just going to be able to play follow the leader and move in and out of the draft and only use the draft to increase our lap times. The draft also hurts our lap times when we get into the corner. So we're going to have to be very careful about where we run on the track to get as much clean air and therefore as much grip as we possibly can. So we hop into the single race. We're going to be using California BR. Quick race of 15%, which equates to 38 laps, which should put us very close to running out of fuel. In fact, we might even have to make a pit stop. I'm not sure yet. And if we do have to make a pit stop, that's going to be chaos because I have not done any practicing with green flag pit stops. And since we are not using any yellow flags, then this could get real fun. Now, a few words about the roster. We're using the KPG roster that I put together for Daytona, but there have been some changes. I knew that that particular roster was very much out of date. We had some drivers in the wrong vehicles, and we had some of the vehicles that don't even race anymore in the series. So for this week, after seeing the roster for Daytona, in real life, I have tried to update as much as I could. It's kind of hard to find some of these paint schemes, so I've swapped around some drivers and put them into trucks where they are in real life. I've gotten rid of some of the trucks that no longer race, added new ones, that kind of thing, and we'll continue to do that as I can find these different paint schemes and different trucks throughout the year. So it's still not anywhere close to being up to date, but I feel like it's a little better than where we were at Daytona. We'll be running 100%, which should make things pretty interesting. But again, we're starting from the rear and we got to find some clean air and make our way toward the front.
Drivers, start your engines.
There you have it. Definitely the funniest of the commands, but we are engine fired, ready to go green in about a half a lap. So a lot of unknowns in today's race. How strong are the AI? What about tire wear? This is a track that's going to have a lot of tire wear. And then, of course, we'll be talking a lot about clean air and dirty air, of course. And then fuel. What about fuel? Do we have enough to make it under green flag conditions? Or are we going to have to make what I'm sure would be quite an adventurous green flag pit stop? I've not done one of those in quite a while.
Get ready now. Going green.
All right, let's see what happens.
Pit cars in.
Obviously, a lot of dirty air here at the start. So we'll see how quickly we can get through it, how things spread out.
Green flag. Green, green, green.
Again, a lot of unknowns. We have a rev limiter of 8,500 RPM on these trucks. I did that for a compromise. I wanted to force a compromise on gearing. So there's the gearing I might want to use here early on in the run with fresh tires, a lot of drafting, high speeds, that kind of thing. And then there's the gearing that I might want to have later on. when things have spread out. Not as much drafting and not as much grip and overall speed.
Car inside.
So,
Still there.
which one do I favor? I went for more of the longer
Keep
run.
high.
At least that's the hope. So I'm willing to give up a little bit of
Keep
speed
high.
here in the early
43.99.
if I can get it back later on.
Stay high.
Okay, it didn't cut out that time,
Clear
but I'm
inside.
estimating it probably will at some point.
Inside.
At least a little bit.
You're
So
up
it's
top,
all a
3
balancing
wide.
act.
Car inside. You're up top.
All right, we got to get by as
3
many trucks as we
Car
can
inside.
early on. While we still got
Still
some
there.
goodie on those tires.
wide. Clear.
So you can see I'm going to the high side. I want the freshest air I can get. It is in short supply here. As you see, everybody's running 2 and 3 wide.
Inside.
A little side drafting here
42.1.
on 33.
Keep high. Still there. You're up top. 3 wide.
Also, something to keep in mind is the harder we drive this thing, particularly in traffic,
Keep
the harder
high.
it's going to be on the
You're up top,
tires.
3 wide. Car inside.
So this is a long green flag run. We're going to push the fuel to the limit and the
Stay
tires.
high. Keep high. Clear.
Now we're on the throttle so much, I'm backing out in the corner to
Inside.
half throttle. Probably is the least I'm using. A lot of times it's somewhere like 2/3, maybe even a little bit more than that.
42.
Just depending on how much traffic we're in. The heavier the traffic, the more pronounced the dirty air is.
Inside.
So it should get better
Stay high.
as things spread out and we're around fewer
Clear.
trucks. But so far, so good. I feel like our sweet spot on the track is going to be the middle. Not the extreme high side and not the low side, because I don't know that we've got the setup that we need to really make a lot of speed on the bottom.
41.924.
I would much rather be here on the top
Still
than I
there.
would be on the very bottom. I feel like we're much better off up here than we are on the bottom, even in clean air. There's one of the new trucks I recently added. The Tanner Gray 15 truck. Love that paint scheme.
Inside. Still there. You're up top. 3 wide.
3 wide. You can see everything's starting to spread out.
42.102. Inside. Still there. Still there. Keep high. Still there.
So the question is, how much speed do we have? How
Clear
far up through this
inside.
field can we
Inside.
make it?
Stay high. Clear inside.
It's a very different ball game than if we did not have the dirty air. Without the dirty air, you can run wherever you want to on the track with really no penalty in lap time other than the fact that you're having to physically work around the trucks that you're passing.
Clear inside.
But here,
Dig it. 41.
there's more to it, more to think about.
Inside. You're up top. 3 wide. Car inside. Keep high. Clear.
Yeah, still trying to be easy on those tires. I'm not running full throttle even when I can through the corner. Still trying to take it a little bit easy. Because I'm hoping that will come back to our benefit later on in the run. All right, we're getting closer and closer to that top 20.
41.965.
All right, the gearing is actually working out quite nicely.
Keep
We're
high.
getting real close to that 8,500, but we are
Clear.
not hitting the rev limiter yet, at least not that I've heard. Easy now. Give me some room up here, 3.
Keep high.
That was close coming off the corner.
42.2.
Like real close.
4. Still there. Still there. Clear.
Yeah, we got him down here in 1 and 2, though. He can't hang with us on the bottom. It's just so hard to run that bottom. You can hear me working that throttle. We are tight on exit. That's one of those compromises I had to make to try to keep the car stable in the draft. I took some rotation out of it, which is not what I wanted to do. But
you're now in the top 20. Good job.
and hopefully as we move forward into other races at different types of tracks, maybe I won't have to take as much rotation out of it. We'll just have to see. I mean, Las Vegas, what's going to happen there? Who knows? Is the answer to that. Who knows? But I'll keep tweaking on it, trying to find more speed and at the same time fewer compromises. And I'm definitely feeling that lack of grip in the front end. Okay, so we made it inside the top 20. Now the question becomes, where do we go from here? Oh, yep, got down too low on the track there. Was trying to see if I could get down a little bit lower. Did not work. So now you can see we got the one truck up there running the same groove as us. So the AI do move around a little bit, but still not as much as obviously I wish they would. But they have moved around a little bit on some of the tracks I've tested at. Look at this 75. He's gonna get right up here in my way. You're supposed to be on the bottom, my man. He's supposed to give me the high side.
You're up top, 3 wide, inside. Stay high. Stay high. Clear.
You can see, particularly as the tires start to wear, that bottom is definitely not where you want to be, especially if you're running side by side. All right, so we're up to this, what, 17th now? Whenever it updates.
Inside. Clear inside.
Get all the way up into this high groove a little bit. But again, where I want to be is in the middle. I believe that's our sweet spot.
Clear inside.
Now the tightness in the center is starting to really become more pronounced. But I'm pretty happy. We're up into 16th right now. We'll see if we can stay there. Of course, the idea is to find out, over the course of this long run, how do we do versus the AI? Do we lose more grip, the same amount of grip versus them? This is the first time that I've done any long run testing. And that was on purpose. I wanted us to do this together and find out together how the long run differs from the short run. But we're definitely going to lose some speed. And it's already much more pronounced now. You can just hear it in the engine. You can see it on the track.
42.413.
Oh yeah, this thing handles so much better when I can get a few lanes away from the truck in front of me.
Car inside.
Just so much better. So much more grip, so much better turn in the car, just as you would expect. The real question is, does that equal more speed for us? And even if it doesn't, is the advantage to the tires, is that better over a long run? So This is why I wanted to have this in the game with the dirty air, is it brings in additional unknowns and some additional strategy. You know, I'm staying away from that bottom because I know it's going to hurt my tires more because I'm not set up for it. I'm set up more for stability and making sure that we can deal with traffic. Go up a little bit higher here, since they're running side by side in front of us. Again, if there's only 2 trucks, it's not near as bad as if there were, say, 5 or 6 there fighting for position.
42.263. Inside.
Yeah, there we go. That's where this
Keep high.
higher lane comes in handy. Oh, got tight there.
Keep
And
high.
the center had to back out of it. That's going to hurt the exit speed.
Clear.
But we're still moving forward. Still modulating that throttle. You can hear it. Again, I am down about half throttle. Maybe a little more than that mid-corner.
42.6.
Just trying to see how much grip there is that's available to me. And it differs lap to lap depending on what kind of traffic I'm in. A little better there. Still a little tight coming off the corner. But yeah, I'm learning about this setup. What do I need to change about it? Of course, now it's going to handle differently now that we are pulling away from Stuart Friesen behind us, and we're over 2 seconds behind the group in front of us.
42.9.
I think that was 20 laps to go. Now we're going to have to check our fuel here momentarily. Looks like the front end is down low because I can hear it dragging on corner entry, so that's something to think about. The front end doesn't travel as much when you're in traffic. Of course, a lot of times you can make up for that by the fact that you're simply going faster from the draft, but so many variables, and I absolutely love it. So we are indeed starting to pull away slowly from Hill and Friesen behind us, but it's not at a very fast rate right now. Maybe a tenth or so per lap, and we'll see if that continues. Same thing about the trucks in front of us. Essentially, the top 10 is right in front of us, and we're just under 2 seconds behind Derek Kraus. So we're going to try to bring that number down. But he's in the draft with those guys. And we're going to see if we got enough speed and clean air. Oh, yep, I thought that was going to happen. Tried to stay in the gas on corner exit, and we got tight.
43.031.
There's our sweet spot right there at the top edge of the darker groove, right in the middle of the track. So that's where I'm going to be shooting for in 1 and 2. Let's see about 3 and 4. I still think we can get a little lower on 3 and 4 and maybe pick up a little time. But so much testing that I need to do here to find this out. And that's what we're here for.
43.158.
That's a pretty good run there off the corner. Yep, I like that. So right now I'm not as much worried about what they're doing in front of me because there's nothing I can really do about that. I can't do anything about how fast they are or are not running. Oof, yeah, we are disastrous in turns 3 and 4 right now. I got to find a better way through 3 and 4.
43.408.
1 and 2 is going pretty good, I think. Again, this is all just based on how it's feeling to me, not necessarily how the AI are doing around me. Woof, that is, you can hear the engine when I get all the way to the bottom. Yeah, you can just hear that. So it looks like they're definitely pulling away now. So we don't have the speed. So of course, at least for the moment, we don't have any draft. Now these guys from behind are not going anywhere. But for right now, no draft for us, which is hurting our speed on the straightaway. But helping us in the corner. But we're just going to stick with it. All right, let's take a look at our fuel. F3, looks like we're good to go for 5 laps. Very nice. So it showed us with estimated 19 laps remaining. Oh, tight. A lot of tight there on corner exit. So it showed us with 19 laps, estimated fuel, and we needed about 5 less than that. So that's good. So fuel is no longer a concern. So now the question becomes, at any point is the tire wear going to flip and we're going to start to have an advantage? I don't think so, because we're slower now and these guys are certainly not coming to us. The trucks behind us are staying about where they are, about 1.4, 1.5 seconds behind, somewhere in that range in general. And in front of us, we're pretty much holding steady, somewhere around 2.5 seconds right now. Sometimes we get it down a little bit more than that. The biggest thing is I've got to not overdrive the exit. Easier said than done for me. So this is pretty good. We've talked about in the previous videos for each of the 3 series how my preference would be for the trucks to be to give us our best opportunity for a good finish, maybe top 5s, top 10s, that kind of thing. And then Xfinity be pretty close to that, but a little bit more difficult. And then finally for Cup to be the most difficult. That's my goal. But of course, that's going to take some tinkering with the AI to get them to that level. And we'll see if ultimately I can make it happen. But for today, we're just outside the top 10, so I can't be really too mad about that. I would prefer to be up there in that lead pack with the top 10. That would be my preference, to be somewhere between probably 5th to 10th, somewhere in that range. On a normal basis. With certain tracks, maybe we have an opportunity to get on the podium or better. Other tracks, maybe we're just trying to get to the back half of that top 10, kind of like now. So overall, I'm pretty happy with it. With the draft being so important at this track, though, I think ultimately we're okay as far as speed, because they're not killing us on speed. They make up a little bit here and there, but we're sticking in there pretty good with them. You can see still 2.5 seconds in front of us. Of course, he's losing the draft a little bit at this point now, but those guys are fighting hard. We're going to have a front row seat to the finish of this race. also noticed that we're pulling away a little bit from the guys behind. So I like it. This is pretty good.
3.789.
All right, we should be coming to 10 to go, I would think. But as we talk about a lot during these races, I completely lose track of what lap we're on. I have zero idea most of the time. I'm so focused on hitting my lines and making our way through traffic that I usually lose track.
43.634.
But just like the teams in real life, this is a learning opportunity for me. For setup, for gearing, for how the AI race, difficulty, all sorts of things. But yeah, we're hanging right in there with these guys. You can see now that
43.696.
no, I thought he might be about to say 10 to go or something like that. But you can see that now that Corey Heim in front of us has lost the draft, we are pulling him. He's coming back to us. So the draft is what is keeping those guys. Now, a word about the whole dirty air and everything. It works beautifully for me. I have to be careful about what I do with it, however, because it can start to negatively affect the AI and their behavior, so I have to be careful with it in the long term. I have done a lot of testing with it, and this, where I have it right now, is about the best compromise I can find for it. Wait, these guys are, let's see, oh, we got some lap traffic coming. I noticed there was some guys getting a little bit bigger. Okay, now I'm just dying to know. Where are we in laps? 33. Okay, so we are 6 to go. Still just coming out to about half throttle on corner entry, that kind of thing. That's really just about it.
Just 5 more to go.
But that will certainly not be the case when we get to the Xfinity race. They have much less grip, more straightaway speed by a pretty large margin actually, and a lot less grip. So yeah, that's going to be fun. And then we'll have to see where the Cup cars, over the course of a long run, how everything works out for them. Because they should be somewhere in the middle of those two. We should be able to carry more throttle than the Xfinity cars, but less than here with the trucks. So that's what I'm estimating. Again, we'll find out. All right, so we're catching the back of the field. Racing here with Corey Heim. Hopefully we can hem him in behind Noah Benning here.
You're up top, 3 wide, inside. Still there. Clear inside.
All right, there we go. All right, so now 10th place. They're coming back to us right at the end of the run. Is it too little, too late? Can we get to the top 10? Now, I'm going to be pushing this thing pretty much as hard as I can at this point. I mean, why not? Oh, yep, right there. I knew we were going to kiss it coming off the corner. Nothing to save at this point.
959.
Driving it into the corner a little deeper, which may not necessarily be the best idea. All right, we've got him in our sights. Do we have enough laps to get by him, though? That's the question. We're definitely faster. But you can see, these guys, once they don't have the draft anymore, they're coming back to us. but it might just be too little too late. All right, here we go. We got him now. Square in our sights.
Just 2 to go.
2 to go.
3.791. Inside.
You gotta love the fact that our hand, because of the driving position here, the hand comes right up in front of our view. Gotta love that.
Clear inside.
Okay, we made it to the top 10. Assuming our tires hang in there, I think we're okay. Oh yeah, coming down to the white flag. Yeah, these guys are coming back to us now.
Inside, white flag. 1 more lap to go. You're in the top 10. Stay high. Keep high. Clear inside.
Oh, did I drive it in too deep?
Inside. Clear inside.
No, we survived. All right, we made it. 9th place. Oh yeah, this is when I like the cars because we're just at minimum grip here. This is just, you have nothing left in the car. All right, so that is how it will end. We made it to the top 10. I did not think that was going to be possible. So let's go ahead and pull off here on the back stretch. We'll get stopped and we'll take one quick look at the standings and see how it all finished out. So I see a few of the guys. I see our boy Matty D up there in the top 10. Zane Smith is up there. Of course, our Daytona winner from real life. All right, we're going to go ahead and get out of the car. And yes, I'm aware that you can get out of the car before it is stopped. This is not iRacing. But just something I've gotten used to doing and enjoy doing it for the most part. So Matt Crafton gets the win. Nemechek second. Of course, Sheldon Creed, who is no longer in the series, is third. But I've kept him in there because I want to keep the car count up pretty high until I can find some others to replace him. Chandler Smith, Christian Eckes, DiBenedetto, Zane Smith, Ben Rhodes. Okay, I like it. I like it. A very strong top 10. And as we look throughout the field, the draft was definitely in play. No question. But what I'm guessing happened, and some of you might have been watching in front of us, certainly much more than I was, but I believe what happened is when they got into lap traffic, that got these guys spread out more, and so the draft wasn't as tight anymore, so they started to come back to us. So if we could get them out of that draft, we were catching them. Because we ended up about 2.8 seconds behind the leader, which is not too bad. That means we had some speed. So that's going to do it for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that as much as I did, and stick around for more 2022 racing season.